Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to my channel. I want to discuss the things that I have learnt from speaking to several hundred different carnivores in a private consultation setting at this point. Now, I'm not going to disclose anything confidential to any individuals that I have spoken with during this time. However, I will mention some commonalities I notice amongst people. So this is my own subjective experience that I have seen to have noticed in this time. Anyway, we shall continue. So the most obvious thing to me is that most people do not stick to a carnivore diet. And if I'm going to be completely honest, I'd say that most people that are doing a carnivore diet are achieving maybe 80 to 90% of their macronutrient intake from animal foods. That may shock you. The next most obvious thing, perhaps a bit more unusual. Now, people that are on a carnivore diet tend to be very thoughtful people that, try to adhere to things as well as they can, use their common sense, use logic. They want to do what's optimal, which is brilliant. I'm completely behind that. And I advocate for anyone that is trying to achieve that, just like myself. Now, what I want to say is that people try to reinvent the wheel. They try to tell people what the optimal carnivore diet is. Now, yes, it is an elimination diet. It is a way to refine back your current eating pattern or pattern of eating prior to the carnivore diet. But what that can sometimes do is create some abnormalities or deficiencies that your body may not notice straight away. One of these diets that is in the carnivore space is the lion diet. Now, it is an effective means to reduce inflammation. It is an effective means to reduce gut distress. Take it back to bare bones, bare minimum, so to speak, to achieve the health goals that you have. The problem with this is any time you change your diet, especially overnight, there is an event that happens within your gut and it changes in order to adapt to that diet. Now, if you do this too quickly, you're more likely to adapt to a lesser degree, which is why I say to people 4 in some cases and 8 weeks in other cases. If you're very physically active, if you're perhaps fat adapted already, if perhaps you came from like a paleo or keto diet, 4 weeks might be appropriate. 8 weeks or longer might be more suitable to someone that has been perhaps vegan, plant-based, vegetarian, what have you, for a long period of time. My third point about what I've noticed with people that I've consulted with, they tend to have emotional eating patterns that don't quite represent which I think is true and optimal to the human state. What I mean by that is we eat so that we may live. We don't live to eat. You probably heard that phrase being thrown around a lot, but I really believe that's true. Now, that's 3 good points for you. If you want a 4th point, people tend to get hyped up about different people's results online and think, okay, if I match what their diet is, their fat to protein ratio, their animal food choices that they happen to eat, I'm going to get the same results as them. And even in some circumstances where people have a very similar experience to you, perhaps they've got similar health experiences, perhaps the same gender, the same, health status, the same exercise pattern, routine, lifestyle. But although we are perhaps 99.9% genetically identical, there is that genetic alteration that we have all acquired over the past perhaps few 100,000 years. Some of us may thrive better on a more varied diet with eggs, for example, dairy. But for the most part, most people I seem to speak to seem to do best on a diet which contains maybe 2 to 3 different foods. So that might mean a diet with eggs, ruminant meat, perhaps a small amount of dairy. There are individual differences, and what you'll find along the way is that if you trial and error these things, so do your own experiment, you'll find what is optimal for you. Now, that's 4 very good points. Now, I might make a 5th one. and this fifth one might actually shock you. There are lots of people out there who promote different ideas which aren't factually true. They're doing something to sell you a program which you do not need. They want something from you. That's why they're telling you it's good for you. And you think, okay, what is there to sell in the carnivore diet? There are lots of products. There are lots of books. There are lots of programs. There are lots of services. There are lots of people that you can consult with. Now, I'm not shining a bad light on people to say they're all wrong or they're all stupid or anything like that at all. There are many people out there with much more expertise in specific topics and subjects than I have. But use your intuition. If it sounds too good to be true, what they're telling you that you can achieve, it probably isn't. So what you'll notice of people like myself and a few others is we're quite conservative. We don't make grandiose ideas for you and, say, oh, you can achieve this and drop 20 pounds in a month. You may be able to, but the thing is, I work on averages. Then, of course, as I get to know people that I consult with and coach with them, in a more intimate fashion, I can work out what they need to do to achieve their best results. Now, I hope this has been useful to you guys. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and also subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you.